the people who say that Ripple is somehow, your word, the devil, it's because we're partnering with the man. We decided if you want to enable an internet of value, you got to connect the repositories of value. And the repositories of value are the banks.
We certainly want to see banks succeed in this new world order.
People talk about the XRP ledger being centralized, I think, because they want to paint it that way. The XRP ledger is more decentralized than mining-based solutions because of the nature of proof of work and the centralization of proof of work mining that's happened, particularly in China.
Joe, you look like you want to say something.
Let me jump in there just because Amanda's going to be happy if we have a little bit of controversy. So XRP is a value token and it trades in an open market. If the CFTC noticed that you owned 60% of the silver supply, how comfortable would they be?
I won't speak for the CFTC. We have in escrow 55% of all the XRP that we own. We can't sell it. We can't do anything with it. So we actually own about 13%.
So, but you do sell it regularly, right? Don't you sell it into the market?
We're very transparent about that. How much do you sell?
When necessary. Sure.
And I think, look, I'm talking about transparency because I think for the whole industry to mature, we need to be transparent in the industry. Ripple, I think, has tried to lead by example with that. And I think there's other ecosystems that I have no idea what's going on in those ecosystems. And I don't think that's good for the whole industry. And so I think that's bad for Ripple, too.
But they're decentralized in terms of ownership of the token.
Ownership of token is decentralized insofar as they work on a proof of stake. If it's a mining-based protocol, then centralization is based upon the mining control, not ownership.
One small aspect of the governance of the ecosystem could be considered centralized if you're talking about the mining aspect, sure.
Whole crypto world was smashed, but particularly Bitcoin, because there was a report that Elon Musk has been a big seller. Now, ironically, Twitter, or X, which is owned by Musk, flagged the story on that with a caption that read, "There's no evidence to support the claim that SpaceX sold $373 million in Bitcoin." So was the journal right? I want to bring in Coin Stories podcast host Natalie Burnell. Natalie, what the heck is going on? I mean, I thought Musk was like the Elon. I mean, the poster boy for crypto, particularly Bitcoin.
Well, I would not be thinking about selling my Bitcoin on this rumor. Obviously, Elon Musk owns X, and you saw that context right there, that there is no evidence suggesting that the company sold, so we really don't know. Right. Now, if they did, it might have been an accounting maneuver because the FASB rules still haven't changed, so it is still prohibitive for a lot of companies to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet because they have to report only the losses. Maybe they didn't sell, but you know what? Bitcoin always moves into stronger hands, so if our hands are stronger than Elon Musk's, I think that's okay.
You never thought he would not be. I thought he's diamond hands all the way, though.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Support this great content by hitting the Cash App and by joining the Patreon.
And guys, we have Joe hits the Hegelian dialectic, and he said it out his own mouth. Amanda wants us to have a little controversy. That's what it's called, the Hegelian dialectic. Make it an illusion like you're going against another person all along, you're with the same agenda. And we know when we see consensus, we should see J.P. Morgan. And we already know Brad Garlinghouse stated they're there to help the banks. And we're clearly seeing it now. Mastercard bringing in a form for CBDCs. And who's on the ticket? That's right, Ripple and Consensys. They're working together to move the banks forward. And guys, Bitcoin and crypto has taken a beating over the last few days, and we know who's to blame. They'll never take the blame, guys. They're always going to set up a distraction, but we know it was the Fed. They control the money supply, and we see yields are rising, and we know that's not good for markets. And then, guys, we have Trump says that he wouldn't reappoint Jerome Powell. And guys, we know Jerome Powell came in under Trump. But we know the President of the United States works for the central banks. He's just a puppet. He definitely doesn't choose who becomes chairman. And then, guys, we have AI listening. I went over this earlier today. Listening in on your keystrokes. But, guys, we know behind that curtain, they have supercomputers. And we know they're about to turn them on. And there will be no password that they would not be able to figure out. That's the reason why a lot of these apps are trying to give you a password. But unfortunately, you can't trust that either. They don't want you to have any privacy. Privacy is out the window. But guys, that's the reason why I tell you to get in the lab. Tell your friends and family to study the technology, so therefore they don't fall for the devil's tricks. You do not want to be caught on the wrong side of history. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Trump administration, you have to put up with Jay Powell. What would you do about that? And would you think about reappointing him or speaking with him, or how would you handle that? Because interest rates can be important tools to stop inflation, but they can also destroy growth.
Yeah, I would not reappoint him. I thought he was always late, whether it was good or bad, but he was always late. I was surprised he was reappointed. Probably he got reappointed because they knew I didn't like him much. I felt that he was not good. In fact, I was very tough on him. And if I wasn't, I think we would have had much higher interest rates for much longer. And we had a boom, and it was primarily, in fact, one time, it looked like I was going to come down on him very hard. And he actually dropped them so much that it was like, he dropped them so much at one time. Remember? And people said, wow, what's wrong with the economy?
You gave him most improved player.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm not a fan of Jay Powell.
As president, there are a few decisions more important than nominating leaders of integrity and good judgment to hold trusted positions in public office. And few of those trusted positions are more important than the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Accordingly, it is my pleasure and my honor to announce my nomination of Jerome Powell to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Congratulations, Jay.
Is AI able to listen to your keyboard? Researchers at Durham University trained an AI model to crack passwords by listening to keystrokes. Using a simple off-the-shelf laptop and a smartphone, the team created a program, an AI program, that was 95% accurate at recognizing passwords. Joshua Harrison is a software development engineer and a lead researcher on the study, and joins us now to explain what this means for the future of cybersecurity. It's kind of a diabolical, even to test for it was kind of diabolical. So the iPhone microphone was used to listen to laptop keystrokes, and the AI can figure out what people were putting in as passwords. So you had to, I mean, are criminals as diabolical to figure this out, Joshua?
Well, I think that's an interesting take to have on it. I would say that, first off, in terms of the ability to recognize passwords, our model itself recognized the actual keys themselves with 95% accuracy. So if you apply that 95% accuracy to something like a password, the accuracy would go down kind of with that small bit of error getting bigger each time. So for something like a password, it's probably not 95% accurate. But we did achieve 95% accuracy on recognizing individual keys just from the sounds that they produced. And in terms of testing for something like this to see if something like this is possible, I think an important angle to look at this from is that if people with bad intentions discover that something like this is possible, discover that they can implement this in the real world, it's in their best interest that no one else on earth knows about it other than the people with those bad intentions, right? And so in any other field of research, you can pretty much guarantee that if someone discovers they can do something big, they will publish it because people like publishing. They want the information out there and it gets them attention and funding and things like that. But if people with bad intentions in cybersecurity get access to something like this, they desperately don't want people to know that this might be possible. And so coming at it as a researcher, so when I was doing my master's at Durham, looking at this problem is more a case of, okay, do we think this is possible? If it is, then we need to kind of promote a conversation around this, because essentially only the people who are looking at this from a purely academic angle are going to be the ones who can actually kind of bring this to the forefront of people's attention.
Joshua, can you sort of walk through exactly what this entails? Using the microphone on a smartphone, does the smartphone belong to the bad actor, or does the smartphone belong to the person whose password is being hacked and is somehow hijacked? And is this all via Zoom? Can this be done in person? I mean, what are sort of the limitations here?
Sure. So the two pieces of data that we looked at in the published study are keystroke sounds coming from a laptop with a phone placed next to it. And in this case, we're just recording the sounds on the phone itself. So we've not done anything to get into the phone. And yeah, as you put it, it would in this case be the malactor's property. So think of someone sat next to you at a coffee shop, someone sat next to you at a library, something like that, with a phone just discreetly on the table next to them. It's not a very suspicious thing to do, especially that you can keep recording by locking the screen as well. And so that was one data set, so recorded on a phone. And then the other one was recorded via Zoom call. So just the built-in record function on a Zoom meeting, and then typing kind of recorded through that. And so, yeah, the two vectors of attack that we were looking at in this study are trying to classify keys from the sounds recorded on a phone next to the target's laptop, as well as the inbuilt record function within like a video conferencing software.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Crypto Teacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Xrp, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.